My wife's Spotify Wrapped showed her most played song was Secret Love. Curious, I checked her playlist. It was full of love songs about affairs. My heart pounded. That night, I airplayed her secret playlist through our speakers and asked, thinking of anyone in particular? Her hand shook as she reached for her phone, and that's when I knew. My suspicions were right. I, 38 male, feel like my life has just cracked open and I'm still standing in the middle of it, watching everything fall apart. I've been married to my wife, 34 female, Sarah, for almost 9 years. We live in Chicago, have no kids, a dog, and what most people would say is a solid marriage. Or so I thought. Sarah and I have always bonded over music. It's one of the things we connected on when we met. We'd trade playlists, go to concerts, play songs for each other on road trips. One of our little traditions was sharing our Spotify Wrapped when it came out every December. We compare stats, tease each other, maybe even discover new songs. So when Spotify Wrapped dropped this year, I was actually excited. I was already planning to joke about how many times she must have played Taylor Swift this year. That night, we were sitting on the couch, sipping wine, and I asked, "So what's your top song this year?" She kind of paused, smiled awkwardly, and showed me her phone. It was Secret Love Song by Little Mix. Now, that's a solid song, no denying. But it's about cheating, hiding your relationship, sneaking around. Lyrics like, "Why can't I say that I'm in love?" It didn't sit right with me. I joked, "Secret love, huh? Who you hiding?" She laughed, kind of nervously, and said, "No one. I just like the melody." I let it go. I didn't think too hard about it at the time. But something about how she said it, and how fast she changed the subject, it stuck with me. A few days later, I was working from home. Sarah had gone out to run errands and left her laptop open. I wasn't snooping. Honestly, I was just going to close the lid when I noticed Spotify was still up. There was a playlist on screen. It was called Heart's Whisper. It sounded poetic, romantic, but it wasn't our playlist. We had one together called Us. I clicked it, and that's when the red flags started waving in my face. The playlist was filled with songs about cheating, not just one or two. The entire list. Unfaithful by Rihanna. Lips of an Angel by Hinder. I Don't Want to Know by Mario Winans. Careless Whisper. Confessions by Usher. A few songs I didn't know, but when I looked up the lyrics, same theme. Hidden love, guilt, lying, longing for someone else. My stomach dropped. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but it felt like more than just music. It felt personal. Like a message. Or a diary. I left the laptop open and waited. When Sarah came home, I was in the kitchen. She walked past the table and froze. I saw her glance at the screen. She closed the laptop a little too quickly. I didn't say anything. Not then. But now I was watching. Over the next week, things kept stacking up. She was glued to her phone. She smiled at it in a way she hadn't smiled at me in a while. She'd startle if I walked into the room. She made excuses to leave the apartment alone more often than usual. I started asking where she was going. Her answers were vague. Just errands. Just getting some air. Just meeting a friend. She wasn't a good liar. I didn't even have to press hard. Her stories didn't add up. Then one night, she left her phone on the bed when she went to take a shower. I shouldn't have. I know I shouldn't have. But I picked it up. There was a text. No name. Just a number. "Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you." My chest actually hurt. I felt this wave of cold go through my body. Like I was underwater. I put the phone back exactly how it was, face down. When she came out of the shower, I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Not yet. But I had a plan. The next night, I waited until we were both in the living room. I poured her a glass of wine, turned on the speakers. Then I airplayed her secret playlist, Heart's Whisper. She looked confused at first. Then she recognized the songs. Her eyes darted to her phone. "Babe, what is this?" she asked. I stared straight at her. Thinking of anyone in particular? Her hands shook as she reached for her phone. That was it. That was the moment I knew. She didn't say anything. She just grabbed the phone, tried to act casual, but she was trembling. The guilt was all over her face. I paused the music. "Who is he?" She looked at me like she was searching for an excuse. A lifeline. Anything. It's not like that," she said. "Then tell me what it is." Silence. Then she said, "It was just talking. At first. Just texting. I didn't mean for it to get this far. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stood up and walked out of the room. I didn't even know where to go. I just stood in the hallway of our building, staring at the elevator. She came out a few minutes later, wrapped in a blanket. Like that made her small enough to be forgiven. He means nothing to me, she whispered. Who is he? She hesitated. His name is Darren. We work together. He's just someone who listens. Of course. It's always someone who listens. I listen, I said. Or I used to. She cried. I stood there. I haven't told anyone yet. Not my brother, not my parents, not even my best friend. I don't know what to do. I'm not posting for advice. I'm just writing this because I need to say it somewhere. Because it feels unreal. Because a Spotify playlist told me my marriage was over before my wife did. I didn't sleep that night. Sarah cried herself to sleep in the bedroom. I lay on the couch staring at the ceiling, running everything over in my head. Every late night. Every smile she gave to her phone. Every excuse I ignored because I trusted her. Because I believed we were okay. The next morning was quiet. She made coffee like it was any other day. I couldn't even look at her. My mouth was dry. My hands were shaking, but my head felt too calm. That kind of numb, angry calm. I'm going to work, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't say anything. She stood there for a minute, then finally said, I'll text you later. I waited a few hours before I did something I didn't think I'd ever do. I followed her. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But I had to know. I waited outside her office building in the Loop, parked in a spot I could get towed for. I watched her walk and like nothing happened. I sat there, thinking maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it had stopped, like she said. Maybe she was sorry. Until around noon, when she came back out. Not alone. There he was. Darren. I didn't know what I expected, but he looked exactly like the kind of guy your wife cheats with. Button-up shirt, no tie, cocky little smile, hair too perfect, some stupid leather messenger bag slung across his shoulder. They walked down the street, laughing. Her body leaned toward him. She touched his arm. He looked down at her like she was his. I sat there in that car gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Then they turned into a cafe, some hip place on Wabash, one of those modern spots with wood everywhere and overpriced sandwiches. I followed. I stayed outside and watched through the glass. They sat close, shared food. She wiped sauce off his chin. He kissed her hand. I wanted to walk in. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I pulled out my phone and took pictures instead. After a while, I drove home. I couldn't sit there anymore. I felt sick. She texted later. Work was rough. I'm gonna be late. Don't wait up. I stared at that message like it was from a stranger. I didn't respond. When she got home later that night, around 8 p.m., she smelled like someone else's cologne. I had her laptop open on the table. The photos I took were on the screen. She froze. Sarah, I said. Sit down. She didn't. Don't lie, I said. Don't even try. She looked like she was going to faint. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to see that. I didn't mean for this to happen. What did you mean to happen? I asked. Walk me through that. She just started crying. You said it was over, I said. You told me it was just texting. That he meant nothing. He doesn't, she whispered. I stood up so fast my chair hit the floor. You kissed his hand. You looked at him like you loved him. She dropped to her knees. That didn't make it better. That didn't make it anything. She sat there crying on the floor while I stood there not recognizing the woman I married. And then came the twist I wasn't ready for. I'm pregnant. The room went quiet. I didn't even breathe. What? I'm 6 weeks. 6 weeks. The math ran in my head. Too fast, too slow. It could be mine. It could be his. I stared at her. Whose is it? I don't know. I stood there frozen. She sat on the floor, her head buried in her hands, shaking, whispering that she was sorry, over and over. But my brain was stuck on one thing. I don't know. What kind of answer is that? You're married. You tell your husband you're pregnant. You're supposed to know. Are you still sleeping with him? I asked. Her silence said everything. Answer me. I said again, my voice harder now. She nodded. Once. Barely. I had to sit down. I didn't plan for this, she said. It was supposed to stop. I tried. But every time I tried to end it, I couldn't. I wanted to throw something. But I didn't. I just sat there, heart pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. Then I asked something I hadn't even planned to say. Does he know you're pregnant? Her eyes widened. No. He doesn't know. I wasn't going to tell him. Why not? Because it's not his responsibility. What about me? Is it mine? Again, silence. That night, I didn't sleep. She didn't either. I stayed in the spare room. Our dog, Max, stayed by the door, like he was confused why we weren't together. The next morning, I booked a DNA test. We couldn't do it yet, obviously, but I needed to be ready. I needed facts. I also booked a lawyer consultation. I wasn't saying I'd go that route, but I needed to know what if. Later that week, I called her sister, Rachel. She's always had a good head on her shoulders. I didn't tell her everything, just that Sarah had been unfaithful and I wasn't sure what to do. And here's where it got worse. Rachel got quiet. She said, "I was afraid this was happening again." Again? What do you mean, again? Apparently, this wasn't the first time. Back in 2019, Sarah went on a girls' trip to Austin. She told me it was with her coworkers. Said they were doing wine tastings and hanging out. But Rachel says she found out after the fact that Sarah had gone alone and met someone there. A guy she met online. Nothing serious, she claimed. Just a weekend fling. Sarah made Rachel promise not to tell me. Said it would never happen again. I had no idea. All those years, all those moments we had, there was already a crack forming. I just never saw it. And then came another twist. I started digging. I know, it's not healthy, but I had to know what else she was hiding. I pulled our phone bill. We're still on the same account. And there it was, texts, almost daily, with another number. Not Darren's. I confronted her. She broke down again. I didn't sleep with him, she said. That was before Darren. It was just talking. But it was wrong. I know it was wrong. 3 men. 1 marriage. I asked her point blank, are there more? She didn't answer. That was the answer. So here I am, sitting in a marriage where my wife is pregnant, and I don't even know if I'm the father. She's still talking to the guy she cheated on me with. She's cheated more than once. Lied about a trip. Lied about the texts. Lied about ending it. And yet, a part of me still wants to fix it. I don't even know what's wrong with me. Maybe it's the history. Maybe it's the way she still wears the ring. Maybe it's just denial. I told her if she wanted any chance to fix this, she had to cut him off completely. Change jobs. Block his number. Do the DNA test when the time comes. She agreed. Said she wanted to fix it too. That she was done with the lying. That she missed us. But I don't trust her. Not even a little. And I don't know if I ever will again. 2 weeks later, we had what I now call the dinner from hell. I had agreed, stupidly, to attend a small get-together with Sarah's family. Her mom's birthday. Just dinner at a restaurant in downtown Chicago. Nothing fancy, just a few of us. I didn't want to go. But Sarah begged me. Said it would feel normal again. Nothing was normal. I wore the mask. Smiled at the waitress. Ordered pasta I didn't eat. Her mom talked about her garden. Her dad made jokes that didn't land. Sarah kept trying to hold my hand under the table. I kept pulling away. Then came the toast. Sarah's mom stood up, clinked her glass, smiled, and said, "I just want to thank my beautiful daughter for organizing this. And congratulations again to you and Darren. We're so proud." The room spun. "What?" I said, loudly. Everyone turned. Sarah's mom looked confused. "You didn't know?" Sarah's face drained of color. I stood up. "What the hell is she talking about?" Sarah stood too. "Mom, stop." Her mom looked around, confused. I thought it was out. She said she was moving in with Darren in the fall, after the baby. After the baby? I said, my voice shaking. I couldn't believe it. Not just the lie, but how deep the lie went. This wasn't some mistake. This wasn't weakness. She was building a whole new life with him. "Sarah," I said, trembling, "was this your plan the whole time?" She couldn't speak. Her lips moved. Nothing came out. "Say it," I shouted. People stared. The restaurant went quiet. Her dad told us to take it outside. But I wasn't done. "You looked me in the eye and said you wanted to fix this. That you didn't even know if the baby was his. And the whole time, you were planning to move in with him." Her mom whispered. "Oh my God," Sarah finally said something. Soft, broken. "I didn't know how to tell you." "You did tell me." I snapped. "You told me lies. Over and over." I didn't wait for her to reply. I walked out. She followed me outside, sobbing. Grabbed my arm. I yanked it free. "I was scared," she said. "I didn't want to hurt you." Too late. "You don't understand." "No. I understand perfectly. I was plan B. A safety net. You stayed here to keep things easy, but your heart was already somewhere else. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. You meant something. And that's enough." She dropped to her knees on the sidewalk. "Please. I messed up. I don't want to lose you." "You already did." The next week was hell. She moved out. Took just a few bags. I packed the rest and left it in the hallway. I changed the locks. She tried calling, texting, sent long paragraphs about mistakes, guilt, how much she missed me, how confused she was, how Darren wasn't what she thought, that maybe the baby wasn't even his and he was backing away now that it was real. I didn't reply. Rachel came over one night, brought beer and Chinese food. She sat with me and cried, saying she wished she had told me sooner. Said she saw Sarah changing, but didn't want to cause problems. My brother called and said, I always had a weird feeling about her. Helpful, thanks. I went to therapy, tried to make sense of everything. Some days I blamed myself. Others, I felt nothing but rage. But mostly, I just felt tired. I didn't go to the paternity test. She sent me the results. It's not mine. That should have hurt more. It didn't. It was a weird relief, because it gave me permission to walk away. It's been 5 months now. She still texts sometimes. I don't respond. I kept Max. He's good company. I've gone back to the gym, picked up old hobbies. I'm sleeping better, eating again. Sometimes I lie awake and think about the beginning, how happy we were, how much I believed in her, in us. And then I remember how it ended. I don't hate her. I just don't know who she is anymore. I've learned this. Love doesn't always end with screaming. Sometimes it ends quietly, with a playlist, with a lie, with a hand pulled away under the table. And sometimes it ends with truth so loud it echoes. I'm not whole yet, but I'm not broken anymore either.